Hi guys, this is Dr. Vogel again in the Organizational Behavior Introduction to Management class. Um, and this chart is very important in the sense that, okay, we have organizational behavior. As the name implies, you could guess that is more than one discipline that is involved in organizational behavior. Meaning, where did we get all our data, all our techniques, all our knowledge, our theoretical basis? Well, it comes from different fields of human study. Um, one of the most important being psychology. Okay, and the reason being is that we're studying organizational behavior, and all it is, it's people behaving inside an organization. And of course, what the difference being that there is group dynamics, as opposed, but you're gonna see that it's difficult to erase the or to get away from the individual psychology just because you're in an organization. Human beings don't make that distinction. Your brains don't. They don't care if you're at work or at home. If you're anxious, you're anxious, for example. And people always tell you, like bosses tell you, leave work at home. I mean, leave worries. I'm sorry, leave your problems at home. And you know what? That number one, that's inhuman to do that. Like it's really bad. The other thing's not possible. It's just not possible. I mean, there is no boundary really in your head, like what constitutes, work and home and life, and just regular life. Your psychology goes wherever you go. So, okay, in psychology, which fields, and right now I'm not going to go through everything that you see in this slide because I have to go and explain to you and give you tips about each one. But for example, okay, there are a lot of theories about learning. Okay, how do we learn? For example, a cognitive bridge. While I'm doing this, a lot of things come to my mind. So, for example, if we look for a cognitive bridge, hopefully it exists. I'm not making this up. But the point is that, for example, you see this bridge here. And a cognitive bridge is a concept of learning, of the psychology of how we learn. Okay, is that, for example, we have in this case we have a bridge. Well, we have stuff that we know and stuff that we don't know. So the brain connects the stuff that we do know with the stuff that we don't know. For example, if we are looking at containers, and let me bring that up so you can see containers of any kind. Containers, um, and we'll see the different pictures of containers. Let's say you're a child, um, okay, and you're looking at all kind. And this is the first type of container you're exposed to, okay. And in this container, well, you see that in this containers you can put stuff in and you keep them there, right? So your brain, once it knows this, how does it go from this concept uh, to this concept, which is a container for transportation uh, of merchandise throughout the world. Well, see, your brain has an idea, a thought, a cognition about stuff that you can put in, you protect it, you close it, doesn't get out. The concept of container. So that would be this part of the bridge. You know that. Um, and and there's a small gap that you don't know, but you're pretty. When you see this, your brain can make the association, say, you know what, this also contains things, and you can close it and keep it there so it has the same function as this. So there is a little gap, but your brain fills it. That is one example, very simple example of how we learn. This is learning theory. Okay, meaning I don't have to show you all containers in the world to know it's a container. It's I don't have to go through every picture of every container you have ever seen, including Tupperware, so you know that something is a container. You make that bridge. That is part of learning. So just the fact that I'm showing you this is just, I mean, isn't that an important concept? In learning, hopefully people can make a cognitive bridge in learning. So yes, organizational behavior, you need to understand learning theory. It's important for not only human resources, but for example, if you have a sales team and you're training them how to sell your particular product or service, you need to understand how people learn. By the way, just keep in mind and take note of it. Learning, there are different types of learning styles, okay? Not everyone learns the same way. That's why we need to know it. We have multiple intelligences, and we have, different ways of learning. We have visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, and so we have many types of learning styles that people prefer. Some people cannot read a book because it's too um, abstract to them. It's just their brain works. But when they see pictures or a video on YouTube, they learn it. Okay. The other thing that psychology has contributed to the discipline of organizational behavior is motivation. Okay. And Daniel Pink, and I gave you, I think, that video. If not, I'm gonna put it there. Daniel Pink talks about motivation, what motivates people today in the workplace. It's not the same thing as before. It's not, people are not motivated by money alone. Yes, that's a motivator, but that's not all. Basically, it's even, the minority of people are motivated by money. It's changed, at least in 1960s to now, it's changed a lot what motivates people. People today want to have an impact. They want to do something with meaning. So we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to look because I remember if I put that video in your Blackboard, but if not, I will, which is Daniel Pink, the theory of human motivation, why we do things in the workplace and what motivates us. The other thing is personality. And yes, there's such a thing as personality in the sense that we're different. We're different. But don't be fooled by the fact that it seems like it's easily categorized, okay? Everyone tries to do this. Everyone's trying. Remember our need for categorizing things? If I didn't go into this, I will. But you see, for us to understand the world and make it a more predictable place, we love to categorize things. And guess what? We love to categorize people too. So what we do is label people like introvert, extrovert. That's like there's so many in betweens that you can't do a binary assessment of people. Either you're an extrovert or an introvert. That's not true. There's many shades in between. Um, Emotions are definitely important. And as you will see in a later talk to you, that emotions are a result of our thoughts, of our cognitions. We feel certain things because we think certain things, and we think certain things because we believe certain things about the world. And I'm going to show you and teach you how to help people change their emotions by changing their thoughts and changing their beliefs. So I'll show you how to remind me of that. If you remind me of the things that I asked you to remind, you get a prize, okay? Um, and why is perception so important? Because we all have different perceptions of the world. Okay, we don't see the same thing that the other, and I'm gonna prove it to you. But I don't want to go too deep into this topic uh, because I want to discuss this whole thing in front of you. So instead of making the whole video about this, I want to talk to you about it in person on Monday. So right now, just know that for this purpose, learning, motivation, personality, and emotions. But I'm going to cover that. In fact, I have to cover quite a bit of time with this part only. Um, and then you have such a thing called social psychology, which is basically things that we behave as a result of being part of a group, sociology, and anthropology. these things will have been contributing to the science and discipline of organizational behavior, which of course has an effect on the individual, in the group, and in the organization. And what do we have as an output? Well, the study of organizational behavior. Okay, now this is very systematic in approach, but what I would like to do, if you, and this is very important slide, please. Um, what I would like to do is give you techniques for each thing that we're talking about, the whole in the whole spectrum of things. Techniques for better learning, techniques for better motivation, techniques to handle different personalities, to measure personality, to how do we get positive emotions, a whole bunch of things that we can use to make this better. Okay, so we'll leave it there. I think that's enough in terms of videos that you have to watch for Monday. Okay, but just remember that this slide is very important. Thank you very much. I'll see you then.